What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. Champ Week preview and predictions are continuing here. We are wrapping up the Power 5 preview predictions today. Indianapolis, Indiana, the host site for the Big Ten Championship for what could be the final season. As you get a lot of West Coast teams entering, there are talks about moving the thing to Las Vegas. We'll see what happens there. So for possibly the last time, the championship game will be played in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it's a rematch of the Big Ten title game from 2 seasons ago. Michigan will be going for their 3rd straight Big Ten championship, while the Iowa Hawkeyes will look to pull off an all-time stunner during Champ Week. The Wolverines and Hawkeyes are coming up next, but before we talk about that, I gotta tell you guys, hey, 1,700 subscribers. We just reached that mark. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support the channel has seen, whether it's been positive, negative, or neutral. Hey, it helps the channel out. And if you want to continue to help support the channel, hey, there are lots of ways that you can help support the channel by, hey, interacting with the channel in pretty much any way. That helps to support what I do here on YouTube, liking, commenting, sharing, hitting the subscribe button simply by watching the videos, going on the community tab. Haven't posted there in a while. I plan to start getting back to that, though, or I plan to start getting back to that momentarily. But hey, just thank you guys so much for the support the channel has seen as of late. It's been crazy to me. But with all of that out of the way, you guys are here to listen to me talk about the Big Ten Championship. It's Michigan, it's Iowa, it's the Big Ten Championship game from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Let's look at the stats both of these teams have put up so far this season. The Michigan Wolverines have just climbed to number 2 in the latest college football playoff rankings after their 3rd straight win over their rival in the Ohio State Buckeyes, and J.J. McCarthy is the leader of this team. His stat line in terms of yards and touchdowns may not be as impressive as last season, but do not get it twisted. J.J. McCarthy is a very, very good quarterback for the University of, for the University of Michigan. 2,483 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 4 picks, 74% completion percentage, which is one of the highest marks in the entire country. And I think he has a very underrated group of pass catchers to work with there. Roman Wilson, obviously the tight end that was able to cook Ohio State pretty much all game long, and Colston Loveland, Cornelius Johnson, another tight end, and A.J. Barner. Then you even have Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, more so Edwards than Corum, that can be reliable options out of the backfield. And speaking of those two, that's your dynamic duo in the running back room. Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards are really, really good. Blake Corum, 976 yards, probably could easily break 1,000 here against the Iowa Hawkeyes here in this game. 22 touchdowns on the year. I believe that is a Michigan single-season rushing record. If not, Blake Corum might have even broken the overall touchdown record as well. And he did it on his birthday against their rival down below them to the south in Columbus, Ohio. Now, Blake Corum probably not running as well as he did last year. He is healthier, but this is still a really, really good running back room. Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards are really, really good. And this is an offense that is really, really good at converting on 3rd down. They're one of the best 3rd down offenses in the country. It was actually 4th downs that really helped them against the Buckeyes last week as well. They don't turn the football over, and the offensive lines, even though 14 sacks might tell you otherwise, this is one of the best offensive lines in the entire country. They, I believe, won the award for the best overall offensive line last year. Easily could win it again this year as well. But the defense for Michigan is another storyline here. You can make the argument now why they are the best defense in the entire country, especially because of the way that they were able to handle Ohio State at times this past week, and how they've been able to handle other really, really good opponents. The Maryland game, okay, maybe a little bit off, but you were able to handle Penn State really, really well. And throughout the first 9 weeks, you dominated opponents, especially with this defense that has a ton of phenomenal playmakers on it. I mean, at pretty much every level. Defensive line, you got guys like Chris Jenkins, Josiah Stewart, Jalen Harrell. Linebacking room, Junior Colson, Ernest Hausman, Barrett. You take a look at the defensive back room, Mikey Sainris still, Rod Moore. Just so many phenomenal, very talented playmakers. This is a really good rush defense. It's a really good pass defense. It forces turnovers at an alarming rate. It's able to generate pressure. It's really good on 3rd down. I mean, this is just one of the best defenses in the entire country period. End of story. The Michigan Wolverines are poised to dominate the Iowa Hawkeyes yet again, but the Hawkeyes are going to come in and show that, hey, they can put up a bigger fight than what a lot of people I think are going to give them credit for here. Now, Iowa, we know the story with them. This offense, it is probably one of, if not the worst offense in the Power 5, and it's one of the worst offenses in the country when you take a look at statistics, even when you take a look at talent. It is not a great offense at all. And being able to find any sort of offensive rhythm against the Michigan defense that, again, probably is the best defense in the country, at least statistically, I mean, is going to be really, really hard. You are led by Deacon Hill at quarterback, almost 1,000 yards on the season, but 976 yards, only 48% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, and 6 picks. But wait, there's more. Now, this run game is really, really good at being able to move the ball downfield. It's an Iowa team, though, that has had a world of trouble scoring touchdowns, right? They can't score touchdowns. They settle for field goals more often than not. Williams, their leading rusher, only 1 touchdown, but 779 yards on the season. The first name being LaShawn. So LaShawn Williams, Caleb Johnson, Jason Patterson is there as well. Moulton has even gotten some snaps. But this is an Iowa team that top to bottom offensively, you even take a look at that second row column there, 31% on third down, not a great number. 16 turnovers, not good. 24 sacks allowed, that is 2 sacks per game. That's not a good number there either, especially against the Michigan team that can bull rush pretty much anybody, no matter how good the offensive line is. It's just an Iowa offense that is very lackluster, especially on the offensive line, which is surprising for considering Hawkeye teams over the past couple of seasons. But let's go ahead and talk about this Iowa defense, because this is what has won them games. Yes, they are allowing opponents to outgain the Iowa they are allowing opponents to outgain this Iowa offense that, again, is just simply not very good. Not a whole lot of way to sugarcoat that, but Iowa is really good at forcing the issue in the backfield. They are good at giving their offense short fields, in which then Iowa's offense is able to capitalize. They're also really, really good at defensive touchdowns. Defensive touchdowns have led Iowa to do some really good things. Hasn't really been a huge factor this year, though, and by defensive touchdowns, I also mean, look, Iowa's defense being able to score points, but also Iowa's defense setting them up with a short field, which pretty much, in my opinion, should go as a defensive touchdown. I know it doesn't. Terrible way of kind of segueing and explaining that here. But the defense is what's going to keep Iowa in this game. There are a lot of phenomenal playmakers. Now, Cooper DeJean, unfortunately, is out for the season, but there are still so many other phenomenal defensive playmakers here, especially in the linebacker room. Higgins, Jackson, their top 2 leading tacklers are really, really good. A lot of great defensive backs there as well. 47 passes defended, 10 interceptions here for this Iowa defense. They're going to help to force the issue against this Wolverines offense. But let's lead you now into your what to watch for. It's your keys to the game. It's some things that I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention to this one. And we are going to start with the designated road team. That's the Big Ten East champion for the 3rd straight year in a row, the Michigan Wolverines. Corum is going to have to attack the outside of this Hawkeyes front. We go back to this screen. 105 rush yards per game allowed by the Iowa Hawkeyes. That is not a lot at all. And I was at the game in Lincoln, and I think what really helped Nebraska be able to move the ball was when they finally were able to stretch runs beyond the tackle box. Now, the Nebraska offensive line did a really good job of being able to open holes there as well. The Michigan offensive line will do the same thing. But I think in order to keep this Iowa defense on their toes, be able to keep this Iowa defense reeling, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, no matter who's running the ball, is going to have to try to cut to the outside as well. Blake Corum, really, really good at that. Donovan Edwards has started to play a lot better as of late. He's going to need to find that there as well. But, the rest of the keys here are, pretty fairly simple. It's just some things that I think are really going to happen because on paper, on film, this is just a pure mismatch. And I know that this is a top 16 matchup technically, but when you take a look at the stats, you take a look at the film, this is just a pure mismatch. Michigan is going to win third downs easily. They're going to win turnovers easily. Iowa's just not great on third downs offensively. Now, defensively, they may be able to force the issue there a little bit, but Michigan will win the battle on third downs. They are going to win the turnover battle. This is the Michigan offense that just doesn't turn the football over. It's an Iowa offense that does, and that'll lead Michigan to win the turnover battle. And I think just period. Top to bottom, left to right, in and out, really any dimension that you want. For 60 minutes, Michigan is going to dominate defensively. And look, Iowa's defense is going to have some good moments. That's not what that is saying here. But Michigan will be able to dominate this Hawkeye offense with ease. Michigan has too many playmakers. Iowa doesn't have enough playmakers. It is really quite that simple. Now, that's what I think will happen, which probably leads into my prediction a little bit. But what do the Hawkeyes need to do if they want to pull off the upset? Well, it starts with really finding any offensive rhythm. Period. End of story. You need to be able to find a consistent offensive rhythm, which is hard enough considering the way that Iowa has played offense this season, but it is even more difficult when you have to factor in the defense that Iowa has to go up against here in this game, which is one of, if not the best defense in the entire country. So being able to find an offensive rhythm, even if Michigan isn't playing well defensively, will be hard enough for this Hawkeye offense that just it isn't great schematically. Offensively, they just are not good, but being able to do it against a really dynamite defense is going to be even harder. In order to do it, you have to find a consistent offensive rhythm and be able to beat this Michigan defense. I also think that comes with controlling the clock as well. Be able to win the time of possession battle, keep Michigan's offense off the field as long as possible. The defense is going to have to key in on the run here as well. Look, J.J. McCarthy can hit some shots. We know he can. He does have a pretty decent arm and is very, very accurate. Again, speak to the almost 75% completion percentage, and he has the innate ability to fit it into some very, very tight spaces as well. Thread the needle, if you will. Has done that a multitude of times all throughout this season. But the defense is going to have to key in on the run. That's what Michigan is going to hope to attack the Hawkeyes with. Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, and even if it's not the run, the short passes. So preparing for that short game, but also not allowing you to get beat deep either. The balance of the ball is going to have to go the Hawkeyes' way at some point here, right? It has to happen if they want to go out here and win this game. And again, like I've alluded to earlier with how much of a mismatch this is, it's not going to happen. If it does happen and the bounces of the balls are going the Hawkeyes' way, maybe they're winning the turnover battle 2-0, maybe they have time of possession, yeah, it's still not going to be able to happen enough here in this game. Sorry there, had to update the record there. I realized it was the wrong record for the Michigan Wolverines. But any way you slice it, this is a mismatch. The FPI tells you that. Almost a 93% chance for Michigan to win. Vegas is telling you that. 23-point spread. Now look, with the way that this Iowa defense has played all throughout the season and with the trends that this Iowa defense has set, I do not think that 23-point spread is going to hold up. I do think Iowa is going to cover that, but I think they only barely cover it. And I know the whole thing. If you're in a game with the Iowa Hawkeyes, take the under. It's going to hit. I think Michigan's offense is going to be too dynamic. I don't see it being as dominant of a performance as it was in 2021. However, I still think that it is a pretty dominant performance here. Michigan's going to control this game from start to finish. Iowa offensively is not going to be able to do anything. They're going to create a turnover at least once to be able to give this Hawkeye team a short field to be able to go score. But that's about it. Michigan's going to run the table. They're going to control this game for 60 minutes. And Michigan, once again, will be heading their way into the college football playoff as Big Ten champs for the third straight year, with Harbaugh now back on the sidelines. Let me know how you guys see this game playing out in the comment section below. And hey, as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.